Hi, everybody. Intimacy coach and sex expert here, Kara Kanai. I'm coming to you guys live today to discuss how to fight fair. So, when you guys have a fight, how do you guys fight? Do you guys fight to the point where you guys are calling each other names? You guys are ambushing each other? You guys are criticizing each other and blaming each other? Does that really sound healthy? No, not really. Is it going to solve anything or have that makeup sex right behind the actual argument? Probably not. So, in your fighting, what do you guys usually fight about? I mean, is it the kids? Is it work? Is it overly stressed? I mean, that factors in a lot of why people don't have sex, especially if they're having no makeup sex to make up for it. A lot of people argue, I get it, but when there's no makeup sex or no making up after the argument, shortly after, I would say like 2 days or so, there's resentment that's just going to build and build and build. And it's going to get worse, and that gap is just going to get bigger and bigger unless you guys will have sex, believe it or not. And then that will gap out. And then the passion dwindles and the resentment just grows. And that argument was never discussed or communicated in the proper way. And what is the proper way? Well, I'll actually tell you the proper way. In communicating your needs, wants, desires, fears, when it comes to arguing and you want to make up and discuss and actually communicate what the argument was about, you really need to stay in tune with your partner. One of you go at a time to discuss how you're feeling, what's going on, and what really drove you to act that way. And that other person's supposed to really listen and not interrupt and just be there for their partner and hear them out. And then when you understand what they have said to you, I want you to be able to repeat to them exactly in your own words what they said to you. That way, you have a clear understanding of exactly what they said. Because some people say stuff and some people think another. I mean, some people will text you something, but really you thought they meant that. It's the same alternative. It's the fact that you're repeating it back in your own words. That way you can actually understand and know exactly what your partner is meaning to say. So it's a perfect way to communicate with each other. Take turns. Somebody goes first, they speak, you listen, you repeat what they said in your own words, and then the next person goes. And then that repeat cycle does the same thing. When you guys can actually understand each other on a certain level and you guys are here instead of here, which I've been there, and that shit sucks. And there's nothing like not being able to understand your partner. And the argument was just so bad that, hey, the resentment, it just never got solved. It never got discussed. Or maybe the next discussion about it led to another argument. And then it's just a repeating cycle and a routine of argument after argument after argument. And there's no makeup session. There's no makeup sex. There's nothing but just a gap building between the two of you, which dwindles the passion, it dwindles the friendship, the communication goes to shit. Come on, you guys already know the deal. So you know what? Why don't you just try to take the time to be present with your partner and really hear them out for what they have to say without getting mad, without, storming off and walking away. No, be a man and be a woman and sit down and have a proper conversation with one another. Be there for one another. Really hear that person out. Really think about what if you were in their shoes, because maybe you didn't look at it from their perspective. It could be totally different, and then you guys compromise. You guys have to compromise and come to a conclusion of where you both stand and where, hey, you guys meet halfway in the middle to make each other both happy. That's what relationship is all about, is compromise. So do me a favor, ease it out, talk about it. Please be there for one another, hear each other out, and stop arguing back to back to back, especially about the previous argument that you guys argued about. It's over with, it's done, but it needs to be squashed and it needs to be taken care of and discussed. So be grown ups. If you're in a relationship, be grown, sit down, and hear each other out. I'm telling you, it'll make a huge difference in your relationship if you can just communicate on a level of understanding and just be productive. Think of the structure I just told you. Break it down. Repeat it back in your own words. I know it sounds cheesy, but I'm telling you right now, it worked for my relationship. And it really had me understand in his perspective what he was talking about. Because what I repeated back in my own words wasn't what he was really trying to say. And so he would say, no, that's not what I meant. I meant this. And I repeat it back again in my own words. And eventually I understood, but I was totally misled. I wasn't understanding what he was saying. We weren't getting each other, like I said. So please do that structure format. There's an exercise for you guys to communicate on an even level and compromise after the argument. Make up after the argument. Have great sex after the argument. Anything just to squash that resentment and make that argument go in the back of the fucking bus and under the rug and totally just out in the trash and forgotten about because you guys already made up. Do not bring up past arguments and fights either. Don't throw the past in each other's face and bring up, oh well, you did this back then and you did that. That's a very unhealthy way to even start an argument out or a discussion. It's something that a lot of people do. They always live in the past and they go in the past to bring up past shit. It's in the past, it's gone. So we're in the present. Let's talk about the future and let's move on. Okay, all right. So join my group at Touch of Erotic if you like this content, and I hope to see you guys all there. You can get access to group meetings, one-on-one sessions with me. That's where my full videos will be, and you'll get much, much more out of it. Okay? All right. I hope to see all you guys there. Bye.